savage mode right now. He's in savage mode. If I was Jake Paul right now, I would be shitting my pants.
Joe Rogan just brutally attacked Jake Paul after he had the nerve to disrespect Mike Tyson. Yeah, he won his recent match with Mike Perry, but that doesn't mean he's the top dog in boxing and can talk trash about the baddest man on the planet. Previously, when Mike Tyson had to postpone their fight because he was sick, at that time, instead of showing some sympathy, Jake started spreading rumors that Tyson is scared to face him. Seriously, how ridiculous can you get? And still, we're all stuck with his inflated ego. But don't worry, Joe Rogan has spilled some of Jake's dirtiest secrets, reminding everyone that there are still people out there who can put Jake in his place. Now, you might want to know about where all this madness started? Well, it's simple. Remember Jake Paul's recent TKO victory against Mike Perry? Yeah, that match didn't just inflate his already oversized ego, it turned him into a complete maniac. He didn't just win, he turned the whole thing into his personal show-off parade.
This is a Mike appetizer, Mike warm-up, but they're both killers at the end of the day, and I do have to be sharp. He does have one-punch knockout power that I do have to respect, but other than that, it's going to be easy.
So, after knocking out Perry, instead of a humble celebration, Jake went full-on jerk mode. He humiliated Perry, calling him an amateur in a pro's body. He even had the nerve to laugh at Perry's efforts, saying it was the easiest fight of his career. Like, seriously? The disrespect was unreal. Jake took every chance to drag Perry through the mud, making it clear he saw himself as some boxing god. But Jake's cockiness didn't stop with Perry. Nope, he aimed his sights on the legends, and his latest target? Mike Tyson. Yeah, you heard that right. In his infinite wisdom, Jake decided to call Tyson washed up and past his prime. He even tweeted, "Mike Tyson in his prime wouldn't last a round with me today." Can you believe the audacity? Jake's inflated ego was off the charts. This newfound arrogance was all because of his win over Perry. Jake suddenly thought he was invincible. He spammed Instagram and X with claims that no one in the boxing world could touch him. "I'm the best there is right now, period," he boasted. It was like watching a kid who just discovered sugar for the first time.
Today, getting experience under the bright lights on my path to world championship, and that's what matters, is getting the experience under the bright lights.
Jake's delusions of grandeur weren't confined to social media. In interviews, he treated future opponents like stepping stones, dismissing the skills of seasoned pros like they were nothing. Jake was convinced he was on another level, untouchable by any standard. Do you really think Mike Tyson is just going to let Jake Paul off easy? We're talking about the guy who's known for having the most vicious tongue when it comes to defending his honor. Mike Tyson, the name that screams strength, resilience, and dedication, had to deal with some serious health issues that forced him to postpone his fight with Jake Paul. We're not talking about a little cold. Tyson was battling severe ulcers, a condition serious enough to warrant canceling the fight altogether. But still, look at the level of wrath he had.
Same fate. I'm gonna knock out Jake Paul.
If Tyson had decided to cancel, everyone would have understood. The world knows Tyson's dedication to his sport, and his health concerns were more than enough reason to step back. But, in true Tyson fashion, he didn't cancel. He postponed, showing his commitment to the sport and respect for his audience. Meanwhile, Jake Paul's response to Tyson's health scare was nothing short of appalling. Instead of showing any empathy, Jake brushed off Tyson's condition like it was a minor inconvenience. He claimed that nothing could stop him and that he'd just find another opponent. Can you believe the nerve? Jake's arrogance was on full display, showing zero understanding of the gravity of Tyson's situation or the respect a legend like Tyson deserves. Jake's reaction was more than just arrogant. It was a neon sign screaming his obsession with the spotlight. He couldn't stand the thought of waiting for Tyson to recover. Jake needed to stay in the headlines, be the center of attention, and keep the public talking about him. This relentless hunger for the limelight completely overshadowed any sense of sportsmanship or respect for Tyson's health. This situation really peeled back the layers on Jake Paul's character. His response to Tyson's genuine health issues was not only insensitive, but showed a profound lack of what it means to be a true sportsman. For Jake, it wasn't about the sport, the competition, or respecting his opponent. It was all about staying in the media's glare. His reaction made it crystal clear that for Jake, the fight was more about the publicity than the sport itself.
Travis Scott's on too. Everything about you's fake. Fake fighter too. You suck at fighting. You suck at dressing. You got a fake chain, you got fake shoes. I'm gonna expose Mike Perry Saturday.
Jake's need for constant attention has been a recurring theme throughout his career. His every move seems driven by the need to remain in the public eye, to be the topic of every conversation. This pursuit of fame often tramples over respect and empathy, qualities that are vital in any competitive sport. Jake's dismissive response to Tyson's health issues was a perfect example of this behavior, where his desire to stay relevant took precedence over basic human decency.
Hey, what are you doing? Mike Perry's a killer. We could jeopardize everything. The biggest fight of your career, the biggest payday of your career. And that's what makes this such a crazy fight. That's what puts the pressure on me. That's what raises the stakes. And I love that. I come alive in those moments, and he most certainly is not going to be the one to stop me.
Peter Blake, big fight weekend, the Rolex reporter. Thank you, Jake, for being a man of your word after giving the Rolex like you said you would. This question is for you, and also Mike. What's your biggest concern with Mike? And Mike, what's your biggest concern with Jake in this fight?
Yeah, he's unorthodox. That's about it. So the first 30 seconds to a minute, just finding my timing and range, and then the fight's over. That's really about it.
Really, I switch stances sometimes, but I'm really an orthodox fighter, so I don't know how I'm unorthodox.
So
you
that
punch
means,
people
that means
in the face.
That means like your stance is a regular stance, not southpaw.
I think that one went over your head, Jake.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Jake, again.
Gary Cantrell, Bubba the Love Sponge Show. My question is for Jake. On the topic of guys not wanting to fight you, we've interviewed Matt Riddles.
The Tyson incident was just one chapter in Jake Paul's saga of fame-chasing antics. His journey in the boxing world has been marked by actions fueled by his obsession with the limelight. From his wild social media stunts to his public feuds, Jake has always shown that his main goal is to bask in the spotlight. His dismissive attitude toward Tyson's health was just another page in this ongoing story. Jake's reaction also revealed how he views his own career. He sees himself as the next big thing in boxing, someone who can't afford to be patient or wait for anything. This self-perception fuels his arrogance and his need to constantly prove himself. By brushing off Tyson's health issues, Jake wasn't just being insensitive. He was also asserting his own supposed invincibility. He wanted everyone to know that nothing, not even the health of a legendary opponent, could stand in his way.
I'm not in the gym just to be in the gym. I love to put it on the line. I love to take risks. I love to do big events, and I love this. I love every aspect of this, and he's a dangerous man, and we got to keep the date alive, keep things going. I'm on a path to world championship, and I'm not slowing down for anybody, and yeah.
Joe Rogan, the no-nonsense guru of the fight world, was the first to call out Jake Paul for being more than just overconfident. Jake treats others like they're nothing more than stepping stones on his path to glory. Rogan, known for his blunt honesty, gave Jake some serious warnings. He stressed the importance of respect in boxing, telling Jake to tone down his arrogance and start showing some reverence for the legends. Rogan's words weren't just hot air. They carried weight, meant to shake Jake awake from his ego trip. But of course, Jake being Jake, he didn't listen. Rogan's sage advice flew right over his head. Jake kept up his reckless antics, showing a level of hubris that left many in the boxing community both shocked and infuriated. Ignoring Rogan's advice highlighted Jake's utter disregard for the sport's traditions and the people who've dedicated their lives to it. It was like Jake was flipping the bird to everything boxing stands for. Rogan wasn't about to let this slide. He's always been vocal about preserving the sport's integrity, and Jake's behavior was a direct slap in the face to everything boxing represents. Rogan's frustration grew as Jake's antics became more audacious. Every attempt Rogan made to steer Jake towards a more respectful path seemed futile, only fueling his anger and disappointment. Rogan's frustration hit new heights as Jake's behavior continued unchecked. The seasoned commentator, with his deep understanding of the sport and its traditions, saw Jake's actions as a serious threat to boxing's integrity. Rogan's threats weren't about personal vengeance, but about safeguarding the sport's future. By hinting at scandalous revelations, Rogan was using every tool he had to instill a sense of accountability in Jake.
Steroids first, and then come off of it so your testosterone was low.
Oh, really?
And you go to a doctor and say, I have low testosterone.
Oh, of course, yeah, because it messes up.
And here's the thing about Joe Rogan. He doesn't just throw shade without solid proof. When Rogan dropped the bomb about Jake Paul's sudden muscle gain and boosted stamina being tied to steroid use, it sent shockwaves through the boxing world. These weren't just offhand comments. Rogan had been observing Jake's physical transformation, and something just didn't add up. Jake's bulking up and supercharged endurance were screaming classic signs of steroid use, making everyone question the authenticity of his recent performances.
Guys
Right.
took steroids and then went in afterwards and said they have low testosterone because they were on steroids.
Sure, no, exactly. So then it became legal. And then you
Yes.
had all these guys coming out there saying, you know, if I'm not on TRT, I'll die. I'll die.
Rogan's allegations against Jake weren't just a character assassination. They opened up a much-needed conversation about doping in sports. The potential fallout from steroid use is a stark warning to athletes considering shortcuts to success. The temporary highs of steroid use can lead to long-term lows, both physically and reputationally. For someone like Jake Paul, whose career thrives on his physical prowess and public image, a steroid scandal could be catastrophic. Adding more fuel to the fire, Rogan questioned the legitimacy of Jake Paul's victories, especially his reliance on technical knockouts, TKOs. Unlike a straight-up knockout KO, where the fighter is clearly unable to continue, TKOs happen when the referee steps in to stop the fight for safety reasons. This leaves room for a lot of gray area and controversy. Rogan's deep dive into Jake's fight history revealed a suspicious pattern. Jake's wins often came through TKOs rather than clear KOs. This raised eyebrows about the integrity of these fights. Were referees being influenced? Was there something shady going on behind the scenes? Rogan's implication was clear. If referees were biased or bribed, it could explain the dubious nature of Jake's victories. For Jake, the swirling controversies created a cloud of doubt over his achievements. Rumors and allegations have been swirling around Jake Paul, suggesting that his victories might not be as clean as they seem. Numerous boxers and insiders have insinuated that Jake could be bribing referees to ensure favorable outcomes. These whispers have been persistent, casting a shadow over Jake's triumphs in the ring. The idea that a fighter could manipulate the very officials meant to uphold the integrity of the sport is a serious accusation, one that strikes at the heart of boxing's credibility. But do you also think the same? If so, then hit the comments below with all of the frustration this man gave you.